I think I wanted to just remind people of like simplicity and on like, you know, little moments in life and really honing in on them and remembering that the things that we do every day is what really creates the bigger picture. It's not like the one event when you're at the Grammys or the one event where you do a big show. It's every day, it's the little things, you know. So if you don't try and make them impactful and fun, you lose a lot of time, you know, in the search. My name is Marie Dahlstrøm. I'm originally from Denmark, but I've lived in London for the last 10 years. And this song that I perform today is called A Good Life, and it's the title track from my forthcoming album, and it's about my son. I think motherhood has affected my music in the sense that you have to prioritize what you do so much more because you have less time in your everyday life. So for me, it's been a reminder for how much I love music and how much that matters to me. And at the same time, I think it's a good kind of reminder of how you should prioritize everything in your life, you know. So in that sense, that motherhood has really kicked in as like a good way of building a structure, I think, around your life. It's really important to me. I actually think collaboration is one of the defining factors of my musicianship. I've always really loved collaborating, and Mikkel and Mafro, the guitarist and the drummer, they've been with me since the beginning, since I got here. So I think, you know, there's some aspect of like loyalty as well that's really important. I think being open-minded and also not being afraid of getting rid of your own idea sometimes for another idea, and trusting in your collaborators. So kind of letting people work their work, you know, instead of trying to manage everyone else's job. I think that's a big one for collaboration. You have to trust. I'm really passionate about science in general. I'm doing a PhD part-time in neuroscience at the moment, with like focus on creativity. Music is actually a perfect study because it's multivariate. We do many things at the same time when we, you know, interact with music. And I'm particularly interested in the way we look at creativity and what's the difference between, you know, doing something on autopilot and actually being like in it when you do it. So that's one of the aspects I'm trying to unravel when I look at science. I think at the moment there's a big kind of self-love movement, and I think sometimes we forget relational love, which I think is the foundation of many things that really matter. You know, working on relationships also in the very hard part of them, and, you know, working things out. I think it's very important and also a part of building a really good life. And I think sometimes in the very fast world and instant gratification, all of that, it's kind of, you know, a little lost that friction isn't always a very bad thing. And that's something that my album also is about, you know. To my older self, I think just try not fear anything. I think fear is a real killer of many good things, you know. I think fear is good. It's very like kind of biological. We need it for some things, but I think, you know, for example, with relation to music and stepping into yourself or being on stage or kind of expressing the person that you are, I think fear can really come in the way. I think to live freely, you have to avoid some of that fear that's coming sometimes. I have a few different happy places, I'd say, but one of them is definitely spending time with my son. I think it's a good reminder of life and very simple things that just makes a lot of sense. That's easy to forget, you know. I think the way I try and juggle everything is to make sure that I am, you know, well fed and that I sleep well and that I have like a good organization, you know, in my life. Yeah, I think it has. I think it's you have a lot less time, so when you make music, you really have to focus in. And it's a good reminder of what things outside of being a parent that you really like to do. So for me, I think it's a reminder how much I love music and, you know, to really make it a priority in my life and, you know, find that balance between work and fun and, you know, parenting. Naturally, I just think a couple times during the day, I just think how grateful I am. You know, I look at my son and I'm like, whoa, I like made this person, you know, it's ridiculously amazing. Or like, you know, we made a good meal. Try to like find little things every day that makes life like really good. Yeah, I think that helps.